Yo, 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 what's up? Chris Sims Unbuttoned here. I'm riding solo right now because yesterday we taped the episode. Our Tuesday episode is taped on Monday afternoon. It's our one show that we don't do live. And of course, when we got done Monday afternoon, some big news broke. And, of course, it's one of my favorite teams. So it's the G-Man and Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence, and some of the news about him wanting to be traded. So I just felt like, hey, we got to say something about this, and that's why I'm here before you hear the rest of the podcast where we break down honorable mentions of some of the other positions we talked about with Connor Rogers. But the Dexter Lawrence thing I felt like needed to be talked about. It's arguably one of the best players on the New York Giants. Not arguably. He is one of the best players on the Giants football team. And I understand where Dexter Lawrence is coming from in this department. First off, I mean, Dexter Lawrence is one of the best defensive tackles in football. I think you start there. And it's not going to be about the stats. That's the big thing, too. Dexter Lawrence is a space eater. He can be disruptive. He's actually very good at rushing the passer and pushing the pocket. And he can be disruptive and bust into the backfield and do all that. But at the same time, he's a guy, too, that they might a lot of teams are going to go, we have to double team him all the time, or we just want you to make a mosh pit and stop the run here. But there's still great value in that. And I think when you look at the situation and what we're talking about with Dexter Lawrence, yeah, he's severely underpaid. You know, where he's making money right now at $21.8 million per year is $10 million below the market of Chris Jones. And I would say right now, him or Chris Jones, who do you take? It's a close one, okay? So just at that very benefit right there, that is close. Now, to further that conversation, if you ask me who I'm taking, Milton Williams or Jordan Davis or Dexter Lawrence, I'm sorry, I'm taking Dexter Lawrence. And I think those guys are damn good football players. Dexter Lawrence has been a two-time second-team All-Pro, and I would argue one of those years he should have been first-team All-Pro. So with that, yeah, he's got something to stand on here as far as wanting more money. He definitely should be north of Zach Allen in the $25 million. He should be closer somewhere between Chris Jones and Milton Williams. And hopefully the Giants can fix that situation. To me, this is the first major groundbreaking spot we're seeing from the new regime in the John Harbaugh era of the New York Giants. What are they going to do here? How are they going to handle this situation? I would think, again, John Harbaugh coming from Baltimore, we're trying to restart the big bad Giants and what they used to be in their heyday, which was always big O linemen, big D linemen. Whoa, look at the Giants on the field. Holy crap, are they big, right? The Ravens had some of that. Dexter Lawrence is a pillar to that conversation. And then on top of that, the Giants' defensive line is one of the strengths of their football team right now. It's one of the things you look at and go, ooh, with new DC, Denard Wilson, and some of the stuff he does, with the Giants' defensive line can be a real pain in the ass up front. Abdul Carter on one edge, Brian Burns on the other, Dexter Lawrence in the middle. You're gonna be hard-pressed to find three better people on a four-man defensive line than those three right there. Abdul Carter's about to hit superstardom. I'm going to call that this year. So what do they do with Dexter Lawrence? They got to find a way to give him a new deal and make him feel more financially happy. That would be my 2 cents. And I think it's a no-brainer to me. And also one of those where you go, we got to be careful here. We don't need Dexter Lawrence going somewhere and kicking butt on some good football team and the Giants getting egg all over their face once again, maybe like Saquon Barkley. This is where we're going to see how this is figured out, but I certainly don't want to see him go, and I can't imagine John Harbaugh would want to see a guy like this go either, especially with the style of football he wants to play. The thing I'll throw out there is this. With all football teams, you got to balance your checkbook. You can't have too many assets in one department. Right now, the Giants, we got Abdul Carter. Yeah, on the other side, it's Brian Burns. Ballers. Dexter Lawrence in the middle. We have Kayvon Thibodeau making almost $15 million a year, and he's going to be on the bench. He's going to play, I get it, but he's going to be a backup. Can he get traded? Can they use that money for Dexter Lawrence to sweeten the pot a little bit with him and make this go away? I don't know. So those are my thoughts on Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence. He's one of the best defensive tackles in football. He is, as John Harbaugh said, a cornerstone, a middle stone of what they want to do here in New York. And I think he's not only a culture guy, he's a draft guy, and he's everything about how they want to play football. So those are my thoughts on Sexy Dexy. I hope the Giants get it done. And now here's the rest of my podcast with Connor Rogers. I hope you guys enjoy.
I'm going to throw a name at you.
Yeah.
And the same exact role he has to play at the NFL.
Yeah.
Bryce Huff.
I'm going to look at the bottom there. There it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see your notes.
Yo, what's up? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Yeah, we're starting to think alike. We're simpatico. It's where we're hanging out too much, talking here together too much about football. We're having the same thoughts. That's when it's scary. That's when you know you're becoming friends. The two best friends that anybody could have.
That's right.
Hope everybody's good out there. Yeah, yesterday we did the safety conversation. We hit that. We got a few guys we want to hit on today. We're going to talk about the homies a little bit.
A lot of it from the homies.
Got some life talk coming up. We got it all ready for you. All right?
The 2026 draft mysteries. In light of the Artemis 2 mission going on to the moon right now. You're going to want to buckle in for this one.
Artemis 2. That, first off, did you see some of those videos of like people who were flying in planes? Yes. And like filming it going
from, like,
up in the
side
air?
angle.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Cool.
Very cool.
That's
to
a
see.
unique experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you're sitting on a plane, you're like, oh, there's
Holy
a spaceship going
right.
by.
And then like you see it and like you go like, damn, like the thing actually disappeared. It got to such a part of the Earth's atmosphere where you're like, you can't even see it anymore. I am amazed by stuff like that.
It is mind-blowing that we go to space.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people, grasp that enough. That
do you think we went to the moon in 69? Do you think?
Landing on a...
If you made me bet, I'm going to say we didn't.
Yeah, so
I would think that's a bullshit story from everything I know. All right? Yeah,
This is a
conspiracy,
recent,
Chris.
I'm not a big conspiracy guy, and this is a very recent development of me that I don't know if people will like. I'm starting to have my doubts.
Okay, yeah.
Because you've
seen a few things and you're starting like, that doesn't add up.
It's a long road to go down, and I don't often.
We were the first person. That was the first person on the moon, but yet the camera was set up there for them to watch them to go up. So somebody set up the camera first.
There's some loopholes that I'm struggling with.
The boots don't match the boot marks on the ground. Like there's so many things. I mean, the two guys that were in there, the three of them that were there, two of them won't put their hand on the Bible, just say, I went to the moon. I mean, just all you got to do is go, yeah, I was there.
And we'd be good.
And it'd be all over. It'd be all over. So I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there. Conspiracy Chris, Tokyo Chris, as some might call me.
Tokyo Sims is a whole nother animal. The moon, there's people that are a lot smarter than me that can maybe explain some of my questions.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, it's usually the opposite way. Like, usually get away from, like, crazy stuff. I'm like, I definitely at least have some questions.
There's some information out there now that I'm going back to the well on things here.
I just want us to go back.
I mean, JFK assassinations come back into my life in a big way.
Did it ever leave?
Well, no, not really.
Yeah, this is like your thing.
But it came back even bigger because, like, you know, with some of these dumps of the files that we've opened up with the CIA and all that, they've learned a few things. And then there's now, with things being cleaned up into 4K and them having the original Zapruder film. Again, the Zapruder film we watched growing up and all that, you got to go back and watch it. Like, the trunks of trees are missing. Things aren't there because they Photoshop stuff. So here's my other, all right, Tokyo Sims, all right? Here we go.
Pete, you did this.
Man, Pete did this. If you look at the new videos in 4K of JFK, it's hard, the death blow that to his forehead, the death blow, right? It's hard not to watch that right now and not go, wait, the driver just turned around and shot him in the head. Yeah, I'm just telling you. I'm going to show you the video after this, or maybe a commercial break. Yeah. All right? And I'm going to show you, and we're going to go there. This might just be a whole JFK podcast. The hell with the honorable mention safeties.
You came for honorable mention safeties. You got so much more on Sims Unbuttoned today. And the homies have been weighing in. Yeah. By the way, we talked about the hive mind in the beginning. I don't even realize these. Yeah. Kelvin Hill said, Connor comes out with the Simsism, stretch of the means. Yeah. It's either stretch of the imagination or by any means. Yeah. I didn't even catch that one. It's happening.
No, your means, they were being stretched. You know, it just felt like they were being stretched thin. That's all I understood what you meant. That's why I didn't catch
together.
It. I just was like,
no, you're like, yeah, of course.
That's English to me.
Super easy to break down. Back to our super brawl of head coaches and GMs. Woke Brisket said D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio over any other coach GM in the Super Brawl. D'Amico brings the size and speed of a former All-Pro linebacker, and while Nick isn't as big or fast, he's got the crazy eyes of a psycho killer.
He does that.
It's a good theory by Woke Brisket.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nick is like long limbs, broad shoulders.
I feel like he's bigger than people
He's stronger
think.
and bigger than people think.
Yeah.
Exactly right. No doubt about it. Yeah, they'd be a feisty crew right there. I wouldn't want. I mean, listen, it's an ex-NFL linebacker, so that gives them that big leg up altogether. And then Nick is a pretty good athlete on top of that. So yeah, they'd be one of those that would be, I think, surprise some people. They would. I still don't know if it passes up as far as GM coach Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes.
They have the title right now.
I think they're the
Just
title
sheer
holders
size.
right now. Yeah, they got some mass and like some legitimate background stuff to go, well, they're pretty strong too. As you mentioned, right?
Brad Holmes played D-tackle in college.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. So that tells you what kind of frame of mind he's got there.
We got a lot of people weighing in on when we talked about Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders. Because this is one when we don't have like a true concrete reaction to a plan. It's just the signing happened. Doug Williams said, come on, guys. The Raiders have been saying for weeks that they want Mendoza to sit and watch a veteran run the offense before he gets his chance to start. I'm surprised you haven't heard that. I had not heard that.
I had heard that.
I mean, I've heard like...
But what I want to say to Doug out there is, Doug, they say this about the quarterbacks every year.
Right.
So I don't really give a shit what it said.
Right. Jackson Dart was playing like what
exactly.
week? And he was way...
And they were thinking week 1 of starting him. I mean, they thought about
that all the time.
So that's where I just... Stuff like that is just draft talk. And where Doug, like... I'm with you. Now, first, I'm one, and I think you know this, I'm one that play him. And Fernando Mendoza is ready to play. He's about as ready to play as they get. He was coached like a pro. He ran a pro-type offense. You get to see all the pro-type stuff. So he's ready from that standpoint. So, yes, I know when I first heard him get signed, Kirk Cousins, I went, oh, well, yeah, okay, he's a backup. This is the spot he's at. Then you see, whoa, it's a 1-year, $20 million deal. Okay, yeah. He might be the starter. I get it. But this is where I'll say, like, yeah, he's the starter. He'll get the first reps at OTAs. He'll get the first reps at training camp. But this is where, Doug, I would just go, again, I've heard this story so many times, and then not what happens, okay, is that if Fernando Mendoza does good in OTAs and does good in training camp and does good in the preseason, I don't give a shit what Kirk Cousins does. Fernando Mendoza is going to be starting week 1 because they're going to go, wait, he's kind of ready. Let's get him going now. Let's not
the team
wait.
Think?
Right. So, yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I just go, he might be the starter, Kirk Cousins. We'll see. If it is, it's going to be a short leash. I mean, yeah. If Fernando Mendoza has a great preseason and training camp and all that, and they start out 0-3, they're going to look to Fernando Mendoza and go, well, let's just start the era. So, yeah, I understand what it looks like and all that, but I also don't buy it, and I don't buy pre-draft talk sometime from these football teams.
Well, listen to Clint Kubiak's quote from the owners' meetings, and I don't know if this is, Doug, if what you were referring to, but Clint Kubiak puts a very obvious caveat.
I haven't seen this. So
he goes, ideally, you don't want him to start from day one. You'd love him to be able to learn behind somebody. That's in a perfect world. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes they have to play from day one, and it's our job as coaches to get them ready to go. I think it does help the player if they can sit behind a mature adult and watch how they run the show.
Yeah.
There was like a giant
bit of
caveat like,
there. Yeah.
Because then it's not disrespecting Kirk Cousins.
No. It's. I think they've told Kirk Cousins you're the starter. I'm sure he probably this is great. It's the only place I was going to make him the starter. So there's that aspect. Now the contract and how they finagled that. And, Kirk Cousins gets to stick it to the Atlanta Falcons a little bit. That's kind of cool and finding the loophole there. But as I say again, it's a hard position to practice. Practice just doesn't emulate quarterback play. Until the crowd's going crazy and the guys are actually trying to rip your head off, it's just a different game when in practice to a game, and that's where I always favor that. And and we've seen it work both ways, but I think more times than not, we see the guys that get out there and play. I just think it gives you a great head start to now be year 2, you're ready to go. And you're ready to go. We don't have any questions, and you know what to expect, and you're not getting your feet wet or anything like that. And that's where I kind of just lean on that a little bit.
Andy Tucker, 5315, said, Brady has already said he doesn't think rookie quarterbacks should start. Cousins will start for at least the beginning of the season. This was Tom Brady on a podcast in August of 2024. So this is almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's just a tragedy that we're forcing these rookies to play early. But the reality is the only reason why we are is because we've dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play.
Well, yeah, maybe some of that. Yes, you're going to have to dumb it down anyways with a younger quarterback. You can't run the full variety of everything. You have to grow through it. But again, I mean, we're now. Do you think that the Patriots would have gone to the Super Bowl if Drake May didn't play the first year before and had the experience of playing?
No,
I don't really think
valuable.
So. Right, it's valuable,
especially in tumultuous season.
Would the Commanders have gone to the NFC Championship if they didn't play Jaden Daniels? I don't think so. Right. So, like, again, it's not apples to apples. And I think we're at a different part here where quarterbacks are getting so much rest. C.J. Stroud the year before that. So here we are where I know we have Mahomes who sat out the 1 year. And that's everybody's talk back right now in recent history. But I want to be like, no, Herbert and Josh Allen.
Cherry
a lot of people have played the first year. And that's where, maybe not the first few games. But I get it. They're going to get in there, and this is going to happen here too. I just have a hard time thinking they're going to want Mendoza to sit there the whole year on the bench. I think there's no way that happens there.
My problem is
Bo Nix. Would they have been in the AFC Championship game? Didn't play year one. So again, there we go. There's a lot out here to fight back the other way too.
Well, my issue is too. It's not cut and dried that everyone's the same.
Exactly.
Like Fernando Mendoza, the argument would be that he has played a lot of college football, that he is ready to go.
Exactly.
I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro year one. I'm saying he's ready to start at quarterback in the NFL.
He doesn't know how to adjust. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Where, like, we're looking at guys in this draft, like Ty Simpson shouldn't play right away.
Yeah,
he needs to play more football,
but
maybe not week one.
Right.
So it's just different conversations for different players.
100%. 100%. I still sit here and go, I would rather have Cam Ward have played last year than sat. And then them going, well, we'll see what he does this year. It's like, no, now he's ready. He's going to feel like a different man, right?
Yeah, the last 6 to 7 weeks.
Good. He's got something tangible to know what to expect, where you got to get better. He's going to be able to watch old film and go, why did I do that? And to me, that's where the growth happens. And so, I understand everybody wanted to sit the guy a little bit, but I don't really, because I think it's the greatest value is to get out there and play, if the situation's right.
Anthony Blakely, 399, said Kubiak is a disciple of Kyle Shanahan, so he wants the kid Fernando to sit on the side and learn to prepare for his debut. It's very smart. Kyle Shanahan doesn't like playing rookies, especially quarterbacks. Sit, watch, take notes, and watch film. He did that with Brock Purdy, and when it was his time to come in the game, he took them to the Super Bowl. Kubiak intends to do the same with Fernando. You lose me when you bring up the guy that was the last pick of the draft.
Well, and he played as a rookie, and he went to the NFC Championship game. That's where I want to be like, guys, he played as a rookie. He played.
Yeah.
He played as a rookie. He got hurt in the NFC Championship game. I get it. All the situations are different. That's what you're talking about here. And again, why I like Fernando Mendoza in this whole conversation is the fact that I think he fits Kubiak's system great.
Right.
I mean, all the play action pass we talked about, that's what Kubiak's going to do. Damn, that's all Fernando Mendoza did. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Like I said, Kirk Cousins will be the starter right off the bat, but I don't think it's going to be etched in stone, especially if Fernando Mendoza, every day we come away going, man, Mendoza they can't stop talking about him at camp. They can't talk. He's so smart. He knows everything.
OTAs.
Yeah, right. He's going to throw the ball better than Kirk Cousins. He's going to run better than Kirk Cousins. He's bigger than Kirk Cousins. So all of that's going to show up. So if he just goes with the right place of the ball and then he put the preseason game, you're telling me if he plays 3 preseason games and tears it up, we're going to go, let's put Kirk Cousins out there. I just don't buy it. So we'll see where that goes there.
All right, we promised 2026 draft mysteries in line with on Monday that the NASA crew of the Artemis II reached the far side of the moon, a.k.a. the dark side of the moon. Shout out to Pink Floyd. That's right, an absolute classic. Due to a phenomenon known as tidal locking, the moon rotates. This is all from Pete, by the way.
Yeah.
I took a space class in college. I didn't pay
Apollo
attention.
13. Remember the movie Apollo 13? Yeah.
The moon rotates at the same speed as it revolves around the Earth, so that we're always seeing the same side of the moon. Only 3 astronaut crews have ever seen the dark side of the moon with their own eyes.
I did not know that part.
Neither did I. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
The last one was the Apollo 16 crew. That was 54 years ago in 1972. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Right.
So in that vein, we're going to take a look at the dark side of the draft, the biggest mysteries for 2026 draft.
Yeah.
And we got a big bucket to go from here. Chris, I think the obvious one, though, just to take the low-hanging right here.
Well, sometimes that's the best one.
Where the hell does Ty Simpson go?
I think that's probably the number one thing.
And more when.
Yeah.
Because the further we get into this, I am not convinced he's even a thought in the top 20. Unless somebody's really keeping their cards close to the vest.
Yeah.
I think his first-round chances have to be kind of what the Giants did with Jackson Dart last year. We want to come back in for him.
Yeah,
the Jets and Cardinals are at 33 and 34. We like the 5th-year option. But to me, this is feeling more like a Will Levis type projection than a, hey, we have to take him just because he's the next guy and he's going in the top 16 picks.
Yeah, I feel like it's that way too. There's things to like about his game, right? But there's some things to question. Then there's the lack of playing time, like you mentioned. Then there's, oh, wait, he's only 6'1", and you'd ask anybody in football, it's the first thing that comes out of their mouth every time it comes up. Have you seen him in person? That's what I always get.
You sat next to him.
Exactly. And I go, yeah. And then they kind of look at me like, so?
Well, what happened the second half of this year?
So, and he got beat up, right? And that's what I think people are going to be worried about. So there's some tangible talent and skill that I do like. There's no doubt about it, but there's some questions. And then, yeah, I think it's because it's the next guy at quarterback. It's just everybody's wondering. But, like, you look at the top 20, is there a team even there that you look at to go, wait, I could see them taking a quarterback? I mean, other than the Jets?
Right. And it feels like that's just...
It doesn't feel like that's going to happen. I wouldn't imagine. I think that's why they made the move for Geno. I think they want to do that. They're not going to try to, let's break in the new quarterback so Aaron Glenn can get his ass fired and then not be there the next year anyways.
Right.
That's not what they're going. And I don't think Ty Simpson will be a Frank Reich type of quarterback either.
It's a great point that not a lot of people bring up.
So I just don't think that. And then you look at that and go, wait, so other than them in the top 20, there's nobody else that needs a quarterback. Nobody. I mean, who is it going to be? There's nobody. The Cowboys, the Bucks, I don't know. The Ravens, no, they're kind of good. Oh, the Rams, are they going to waste a pick?
That's so dumb.
No, they're in the Super Bowl window right now.
Right.
So they're not going to do that. You get to Pittsburgh at 21. That's the first time you go to a team and go, that could maybe make some sense. Would they do that? And he does have some of that quick twitch Aaron Rodgers footwork. There you're like, ooh, maybe Mike McCarthy would like that. But again, I have no inside knowledge there. But I'm with you. I think that's the biggest one. And if you made me bet as we sit here right now, I think, yes, he probably goes towards the top of the second round more than the end of the first.
I think Arizona at 34.
Yeah.
Of course, the Jets at 33, maybe.
Yeah.
The Browns at 39.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
are one I'm watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Browns pick obviously at 6 and 24. We think they're gonna add to their roster with those picks. I mean, of course, they could consider him at 24.
Yeah.
What do you think of him with Monken is actually the more important question.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm a Monken fan.
Yeah.
So I like Monken. But I think Cleveland's in a spot here. Cleveland has no choice to me other than they have to figure out what Shedeur Sanders is. Right. First off, it seems like the fan base will pillage the city and burn it down if he doesn't play. I mean, he's got a backing. There's almost nothing you can do. That was kind of the curse of drafting him was like, if you draft him, you're going to have to hear about him all the time. Now, he did some good things. I'm not saying he's not willing or worthy of having this opportunity, but I feel like they got to figure that out. And then they got Deshaun Watson there, too. So it's going to be that first. I feel like you add Ty Simpson, you're just like, what the? If they add Ty Simpson, I'm going to go, what the F are they doing when we're in the barn or anywhere else if we're not even together in day 2? But it's still going to be like, what the are they doing?
I like when we're taped. I forgot
we're not
about
on live.
that.
I forgot we're not on live here.
Yeah, conspiracy theories, curse words. Yep. Tuesdays just hit different.
Yeah, you know it.
And mysteries.
Yeah.
Is there a mystery for you that kind of becomes interesting?
Well, I mean, again, I think one that just jumps off the bat to me right off the bat is, will a second running back go will Jadarian Price go in the end of the first round?
Right.
I'm just interested. I think he's totally worth that. But I feel like at first it started out like he was a hot name, and now it's kind of cooled a little bit. But, as a whole, yeah, I am. And you know what I think of Jadarian Price? I mean, I think Jadarian Price is like no doubt should be a first-rounder. We've talked about it. I mean, he's to me, better than some of the guys that have gone in the first round maybe the last few years. I like him better than Omarion Hampton. He has that rare skill of, like, score anytime, anywhere. That's rare. That's a big time value. So I think that's another one that I look at to just be, off of your Ty Simpson one. I think that's the second most interesting one to me there.
Especially when you look at, I don't think Houston will do it at 28, but Seattle at 32 would be the place.
Yeah.
It's like we need a running back. He's a difference maker. They won a Super Bowl running the ball.
Exactly, and they're going to still play that system.
It is kind of fascinating that, like, Kenneth Walker is not there anymore and Charbonnet's hurt.
I know.
So
I mean, they would definitely be the team I'd be looking at to go, ooh, maybe they would take Jadarian at the end of the first. Is there anybody else with the Houston Texans at 28? Take a Jadarian? That's another team that's crossed my mind.
Right. That's probably as early as he can go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised to see somebody else go down that road.
I wouldn't think my guy Shanahan's going to take him at 27. The Bills at 26 or not. The only other one that I could see is with the Bears at 25. The Bears at 25, right? It felt like they cooled on DeAndre Swift a little bit at the end of the year.
Monunga was playing
a lot, right? I don't think either one of those guys are Jadarian Price.
Right, different.
So that's another spot. At least I guess I could. So I go, oh, Ben Johnson. He wants a freak running. Oh, I get that. He gets his Jahmyr Gibbs-ish type of guy, at least a big play guy that can rip off some yards running the ball.
All right, the next one for me is just the never-ending combo of positional value. Because the best players in this draft play the positions that people don't care about anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You look at, we had the conversation on the safety show about Caleb Downs. Of course, where is he going to go and how is that valued? And is he a top 10 pick? Jeremiah Love is the most interesting one. I think he's the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
He's my number one player on my big board. We know the combo starts. The combo starts at Tennessee at 4.
Yeah.
But does it really start at 4? Like if Arizona took him at 3, would your jaw hit the ground?
No.
It'd be a surprise. We'd be like, oh, no, they think he's the best player in the draft too. Mike LaFleur needs to build this team through the run and throwing to the running back.
Exactly. Yeah. And we talked about, I mean, this is a guy that can do both. He could be a guy that could be a 1,000 guy. I mean, I said he could maybe Marshall Falkish in the way he is. So, yes, I'm with you.
Right.
Like, not expecting it, but would I be shocked? Absolutely not. And then, Mike LaFleur, who is his expertise is run game, really, too.
Right.
Like, I've told you the story before. When Mike LaFleur went to the Rams, I could tell you Kyle Shanahan's first thing was, gosh, Mike's going to go and tell McVay some of my tricks in the run game that I've kind of like installed the last few years, right? So, run game's going to be important to him, certainly. And we know it was important to his brother in Green Bay.
Right.
I mean, one of the first things he did was, sign Josh Jacobs and all that. So, I would not be shocked there either way. But, it'd be interesting to see how high he goes there. I'm hoping the Giants get him at 5.
Well, it goes back to LaFleur, his first year as the Jets OC. When they were 7-4, people forget, and they bottomed out. They lost every game after that. They were 7-4. The offense was built through a rookie named Breece Hall, who catches and has explosive runs.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah Love is a better player than Breece Hall.
Definitely.
So that's, if you want to get creative with that, I'm not saying it's likely. I'm just saying if you want to imagine it, Arizona at 3 would be as early as he probably goes. Then how far do you fall? Like, can you make it past the Commanders at 7? Because Jaden Daniels and Jeremiah Love in the same backfield to me is, like, you can win a Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
You can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, good luck having fun with that one.
Right.
That would be amazing. But yes, I mean Jeremiah Love's going in the top 10. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And if you trust kind of what happened in free agency with how the Chiefs and the Saints and what they did at the running back position, it would tell you they certainly don't think he's going to be on the board at 9 or 10 or anything like that. So definitely one of the biggest questions of the draft there. And then how the rest of those play out at running back, too. I mean, not only will Jadarian go in the second round, but who's the next guy off the board?
Yeah, it's a wide open group.
Right? I like Katron Allen next. That would be the guy I would expect. But we know running back is kind of beauty in the eye of the beholder. We'll see where that goes. All right, I think the other one to me, just, out of pure fandom, is the way the edge falls out. Just how many edge guys go. And kind of the pecking order of it. And, whether Arvell Reese, you could take him out of the conversation anyways. I mean, to me, I'm going to be sitting here floor to the ground if he doesn't go to number 2 to the Jets. But I am after that with all the other guys. One, the order of which they go. Bailey, Messidor, Bain. How does that fall out? Right. And then how many of them actually make it to the first round?
How many's the big one?
I think that's going to be the big one. Right?
So what we always try to do like a what we know.
Yeah.
Reese, Bailey, and Bain are going in the first round.
Yep.
They're potentially going in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Bain will be interesting because there's a whole combo of tweener and all of that, but somebody will love him. Messidor, I'm pretty sure, is going in.
I would be shocked if he doesn't.
Pretty surprised.
Yes.
I've told you before, I think Zion Young is going in the first round.
Listen, I'd be shocked with you if he's not.
But
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's changed since we had that
the
combo.
NFL is going to like Zion.
That's 5.
Yeah.
Then the wild cards.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess it would be set at 5.5 because does a Malachi Lawrence, a TJ Parker.
Exactly.
Does somebody love Gabe Akis?
Yeah.
Like, if somebody just loved Gabe Akis in the last couple picks of the first round, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
No. Gabe Akis is, to me, one of the top 45 player in the draft.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so they draft him at 31 or 2, whatever. Yeah. Who cares?
Cassius Howell.
I'm with you. Cassius Howell probably in that conversation.
I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick.
I don't think so either.
But at least having the combo. So, yeah, I'd set it at 5.5, and that's a lot of players from one position group.
I think the wild cards are the 2 you mentioned. One is your Malachi Lawrence, who we know is one of the best pass rushers in the draft. And to me, the other one is TJ Parker. TJ Parker's not going to be as sexy to the fans out there and all that, but he is one. and I feel like I'm starting to hear a little buzz about TJ Parker to where he could be the other guy that sneaks into the last part of the round. We talked about him last week. I mean, he's a really good football player, and he's the kind of guy that the NFL usually loves because he's versatile. He takes the run. He's good in the, rushing the passer. He's smart. He's just got all the things you want, and those guys tend to translate to the NFL a little bit better than we think at times. And so that'll be the interesting there altogether. But, yeah, I think that's one of the big questions of the draft. I mean, always is every year, I feel like lately. How many of these pass rushers will go?
Yep.
How many offensive linemen will go? Which I'm just starting in the midst of that. So,
that group down
but that to me is a big dictator of the draft. The O-line, I feel like the last few years has maybe been the biggest dictator of all, because that is one usually where, like, let's say there's a top 10 offensive lineman, usually it falls off a cliff after a certain point.
Right.
To guys who are just like, wait, there's only 3 or 4 tackles we think that can start right away right now. We got to get one. There's only a few guards that we feel like can start. We got to get them, right? There's only one center this year. We got to get them. And that can dictate sometimes how many safeties or how many pass rushers end up in the draft, because all of a sudden we go, oh, shit, they're 6 tackles, and yeah, they're good. And the teams aren't going to pass up those opportunities.
I think teams are starting to kind of look back at, like, trends.
Yeah.
And when you look at the trends, edge and tackle, typically the guys that go in the first round, and it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But they're the guys that end up being good.
They work out.
It's not like running back has variance, receiver has variance. A lot of positions do. Tight end. I mean, when you think of like Tucker Kraft and George Kittle, there's players from all over the rounds. When you look at the top tackles in the NFL and you look at the top pass rushers in the NFL, where did Myles Garrett go?
Yeah, they're towards Trent Williams, whatever.
Right. Like, yes, there's a few.
Yeah, we know Evan Neal was a bust for the Giants.
That's going to happen.
That's going to happen. Yeah, I get it.
But the reality is more percentages of the top guys from those positions are in the first round where teams are like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do this, the percentages are telling me I'm less likely to hit later.
The great example, and we were just talking about it before the show, is like a Trayvon Walker. Okay, yeah, he's not worth the number 1 pick. We got it. He's not, but he's not a bust.
He's a good player.
He's a really good player, right? Yeah. Kayvon Thibodeau, yeah, he wasn't worth the number 5 pick, but he's a good starting edge player.
Sure.
It's not, so it's like, I think that to your point of like, even though, yes, sometimes that might have been off on their draft value, it's like, no, they still were first rounders because they're starters, and more times than not, it works out that way. And yeah, I'm with you there all the way.
You know who's lived his whole football life that way is Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, that's right.
Clowney's just how many guys are former top pick, really good for 10 years now? Never great, just really good. And it's like, well, he never became the guy that one big play he had against Michigan was his career, but he's always good.
He's always good. I would argue early on in his career, there was a great few years there. He was one of my first up the play guys.
Yeah.
Him and Michael Bennett, right? Michael Bennett in Seattle. But Jadeveon was a little that way. He had microfracture on his knee, and that changed everything. And he told me flat out, he goes, I can't bend around the corner anymore because my knee just won't hold up. So that changed his life. But he's such a freak of nature. He's like, I'll get it done another way.
It's kind of amazing.
It is. It's amazing.
How many guys can
Only
do that?
guys like him. Like he's a freak of nature that way. But yeah, to your point again, it might not lived up to that number 1 billing, but there was a 6 or 7 year period where you're like, he's awesome on the edge and physical as hell.
Yeah.
And the man. Yeah, so you're right about that.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we're back, we got more draft mysteries coming right up.
Mysteries. Did we land on the moon?
Dark side of the moon. All right, we're back with more 2026 draft mysteries here, Chris. The one top of mind is just because you can't predict these things unless you know some really high up people in certain places. What's the big trade?
Yeah.
We'll get to player aspects, but what's the going up for a prospect trade?
I know.
Because you read 90,000 mock drafts and it's all static for the most part, but what if someone loves Ruben Bain and Ruben Bain is there at 8?
Yeah.
And the Saints are like, well, we can get the same receiver that we liked at. I'm trying to think of a team that makes sense for like a Ruben Bain. I don't even know where to go with that.
No,
I mean, what if the Ravens, who don't really do that, but just for conversation's sake,
the Cowboys,
and Bucks, and Cowboys should trade up.
Yeah,
that's
Cowboys
a take that the Cowboys should move up from 12.
Yeah,
they should get one of the best players in the top 10 of this draft. They don't just trade pick 20 to do it. Use a different pick to go up from 12 and walk out of this draft. The problem with the Cowboys is the perfect player for them is Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he'll make it at the range that they can go up and get him.
I think that's to me the Sonny Styles question is would be one of the next ones on my list here, right? But yeah, you're right. Someone's gonna. I mean, one of these teams is gonna make a move. One of these teams is gonna go. Wait, yeah, we got 2 picks, but we feel good about our board down the line. We want one of these elite guys right up here, and so who would that be? I don't know. You know, do the Dolphins do something like that and try to get a marquee player? I mean, the Chiefs are always a team I'd say watch out because they're fearless and you know they'll make moves. Did the Jets go the opposite way? Did they just go, you know what? Well, we're going to trade down and acquire more players and maybe have 3 first-round picks by the time the night's over?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. So that'll be interesting. But on top of that, let's talk about the Sonny Styles thing. Because Sonny Styles, I mean, I know a lot of people here in New York think there's a good chance he could go to the Giants at number 5.
A lot of rumors about that.
I'd be all for it, definitely. I mean, freak of nature, ascending play, ball hawk type middle linebacker that hasn't even reached his potential. And then you go, whoa, he's got a really good D line in front of him to where he's going to have space and the ability to really show his athleticism to go get the football. So, yeah, he'd be one again. I want the Giants to take Jeremiah Love, but if the Titans take Jeremiah Love, I certainly wouldn't be mad at Sonny Styles. I would want Sonny Styles, I think, over Caleb Downs. I think you're different, but I wouldn't be mad if they got Caleb Downs either.
Yeah, it's a tricky one to do like the now versus the what could be.
Yeah, what could be, exactly.
And Styles is a really good player, but he could be one of the best linebackers in the league one day. And then when you look at, like, if the Jets or Arizona trade out, how does that change the entire draft?
Yeah.
Does it kind of flip the draft upside down? We're like, whoa, this team did this, and now everything felt differently than we've been projecting for 3 months? Because that always happens.
It does.
So that's the one for me where I'm like, I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody will make a big move in this draft because I think the tier of player changes from about, it's like pick 8 or 9, it goes into a different tier.
class.
Yeah. So if you're sitting there at 12 like Dallas, why wouldn't you?
All right, so another one I'll throw at you. Who's the third quarterback off the board?
I'm gonna say,
who do you think?
I actually think it might be Carson Beck.
That would be if you made me bet.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be my third, but yeah, I could see the league liking him.
I think
wanting him. He's smart. He's played a lot of football. Right. He's got a consistent throwing motion. He's accurate that way. There's no wowing thing, but he's one of the safer guys here. So it's interesting to hear you say that. You know, of course, I didn't have him in my top 5. He was my first honorable mention. But, yeah, I could see that. I certainly could.
For the longest time for me, it was Nussmeier. I just think he's small and beat up. I think he does more wow moments than Carson Beck.
He does. But the small and beat up and then this film from last year is definitely going to hurt him. I think you're 100%.
So,
yeah,
for me, it's not Aller.
Yeah.
It's just not.
No.
Beck's my QB4, but I think he'll be the third quarterback take.
Yeah.
He's, like you said, he's big. There's a lot of noise that he was a different person at Miami this year in a good way.
That's what everybody says.
Like Georgia, it was like it didn't really end so well there.
Yeah.
Everybody in Miami's like he grew up. Whatever phrase you want to use to talk about maturity, I think that's really helped him in a class that there's no quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like Carson Beck in a different quarterback class might be a 4th or 5th round pick.
I know.
In this draft, he might be a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, it definitely could be.
A top 100 pick is a premium
It's
pick.
a big deal. Big deal. Yeah. I mean, the guy he reminds me of is Davis Mills. And Davis Mills is a borderline fringe starting quarterback almost. And Carson Beck, I got to feel, is the same way.
People wanted to see Davis Mills in the playoffs.
Well, damn. I was sitting there. I was sitting there at one point going, okay, it's time to make the move. Holy crap.
Something.
Please. We've gone full Tropic Thunder. I think the quarterback is trying to make the other team win. I don't know what to say there. But C.J. Stroud, hopefully he bounced back. All right, last one I think that we're all interested in. It's obvious. Like we've been sitting here looking at it for a while.
For it.
A.J. Brown.
It's got to happen.
When's it going to happen? Right? Yeah. I mean, to me, it's definitely going to happen, especially in lieu of what we're seeing again with the stuff we talked about last week with Jalen Hurts, more of it coming out again this weekend. Levante David making the comments about, when we played the Eagles, we just went, let's make Jalen Hurts play quarterback and we'll win the game. As long as we stop the run and we don't let him scramble, they won't be able to beat us. And that's what anybody that's been listening here, the homies, whoever, I've been trying to tell people forever. That is the MO on him in the league. But I think also within making that transition, getting rid of A.J. Brown and taking the pressure off the situation and all that, I think it's probably the time is right. So, when does it happen? Most of the league, I think, thinks it's going to happen June 1st because some of the contract stuff. But, when does it happen? I don't know. Could it happen before the draft? Yeah, certainly. But I definitely, as one of the offseason storylines, is where A.J. Brown ends up.
Yeah, it's much more digestible if it's a post-June 1 trade for salary reasons for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So they're going to probably hold on in that way. Obviously, in New England makes a lot of sense. I mean, to me, Buffalo always made the most sense, and they went out and got DJ Moore. So I don't know if they're going to make 2 pro wide receiver trades.
Yeah, I doubt
but
that.
But if it waits till June 1st, a team doesn't have to use capital in this draft.
No.
They can make their picks and then trade for A.J. Brown. So if you're trying to win now, that makes more sense for you. The problem with that is, and I know people get tired of hearing this, but the 2027 draft, the capital in that draft is more valuable than this year's. Like it just that's the league thinks that.
Yeah.
That's how it's viewed.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing to weigh.
Right. You have to weigh that as a GM. Those are things, I don't know. But, yeah, if you're a good GM, they have feel for that type of stuff. You got to be able to see the future a little bit.
When you worked in New England, you said they were always a little ahead.
Totally.
Right. Like,
totally.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was almost 3 years ahead, really. 2 years was definitely ahead, right? Like, Bill was the kind of guy that I would say draft ended. We get towards the end of OTAs, okay, and he already knows the next draft.
It's insane.
He's like, he would already have a good feel. So then when he would hit the draft after the next season, he was already like, I don't know, I have a great feel for all these guys already. And that's where, they were next level, right? That's where they were very smart that way and kind of can balance out their plan of attack off of that a little bit.
I think the last one for me, because this is always a fun topic, is how many receivers go in round 1.
Yeah.
Because the opinions on this class are all
over the place.
I mean, the only thing I think I know is, and he's not my number 1 receiver, but just talking about what we know versus what we think, I think Carnell Tate is going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that. I
right.
think the league just likes him more than you and I.
Sure.
Which is fine. I think Jordan Tyson will still go in the first round despite the health. Despite his limitations physically, I think Mekhi Lemon will go in the first round. But after that,
you don't think Denzel will?
I think Denzel will, but it's closer on the odds markets than you'd think.
Yeah.
Omar Cooper is just like Denzel. He's kind of in that 16, 19, but then can also go at the end of the first round.
Right.
So I guess it's set at 4.5, 5.5. I mean, I don't know. Does like your guy Chris Brazel sneak in? Does Casey Concepcion make it in?
I know it's going to be interesting to see.
I think it's the hardest.
I think you kind of, I think you kind of hit on it. To me, Tate's going to be a first round. Jordan Tyson, I would be shocked if it's not a first round. It's all about the injury. It's not going to be anything film related. Denzel Boston, I feel like. Again, teams don't tell me, but like at the owners' meeting, I definitely had some people like, hey, I always like your wide receiver rankings. And, I had a few teams ask me, like, who was your number 1 this year? And I was like, I like Denzel Boston the best. And I feel like the reaction I got was like, yeah, we do too.
Hoping
right?
that he makes it.
And like a little bit of that. That's how I felt, but we'll see. But yeah, I think 4 seems to be about the number of where you go, okay, yeah, there's definitely going to be 4, but could there be 6? Could there be 5? I don't know. One thing I wanted to text you about is, did you see who the Saints worked out last week?
No.
Zachariah Branch. Now, again, that's not for the first round, but they're not working out 5th rounders. Let me just tell you that. Or 4th rounders.
No, you don't use that.
He's being worked out because maybe the top of the 2nd, something like that. That is what I would think, at least. That's where my brain went. Usually with those kind of workouts, it's people that you're looking to take in the top 50 picks of the draft.
They have the 42nd overall pick.
So that to me would be about the range where I could see him going there.
I think so too.
Give you that
that's those workouts matter. People are like, oh, don't that's something you should follow.
Yeah, it's something. It definitely has some value to it. Doesn't mean it always happens, but it tells you that they're thinking that guy is worthy of being in that range, and that they might, they're doing a little extra homework on him on whether they want to pick him or not.
All right, Chris revealed his top 6 safeties in the 2026 draft yesterday, but we got honorable mentions that missed the cut right after this. All right, safety rankings. Here were Chris's top 6 in a couple different tiers. Caleb Downs in a tier of his own. Dylan Thieneman, Genesis Smith, and Emmanuel McNeil Warren in tier 2. And then Traden Stukes and Miles Scott, who did not get a combine invite, sneaks into tier 3. But we got more names to go through, Chris.
Yeah.
Starting with a guy that had a great week at the Senior Bowl, TCU's Bud Clark.
Yeah, I liked him, man. I know you like him a lot.
Great athlete.
Yeah.
I loved your point. Just what he was asked to do is ridiculous.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys, this is the guy that I was talking about on yesterday's podcast. He was one of the guys that came to my mind where I want to go, his coverage numbers aren't going to look great if you go to a grading website. But I also want to go, like, if you put the top corners in the draft in some of the situations he's in, I'd go, their coverage numbers ain't going to look good either.
Right.
Hey, play safety. We want you to be responsible for the C gap in the run game, but yet cover the slot receiver who runs 4-4-4 man-to-man. Like, so be ready. If they run fake, we want you to get there to maybe stop the run, but then we want you to turn on 7 boosters in your ass to go get the receiver you're covering man-to-man. And he's running at you full speed, and he can go inside or outside and has a 30-yard go either way. Oh, okay, no problem, Coach.
Help.
I got him. I got him, Coach. No problem. So you're telling me I got to cover him on planet Earth? Oh, okay, great. I mean, so yeah, that's the stuff that I watch at college football sometimes, and I go, oh my gosh, this poor kid. Like, what the crap? But he's really good in the pass game.
He's
Great hips.
Yes.
Right. He's got good range. He's a free safety type.
He's explosive.
He is. You might a little more in the tackling game, okay, maybe, but he's a free safety type. He's that kind of guy, at least how I look at him.
6'1", 188, 4.41 speed, 38-inch vertical. He's played over 2,700 snaps across 6 years at TCU. So that's probably why they asked so much of him.
Yeah.
He's been a staple of the program for a while. He had a great week at Senior Bowl practices and coverage.
He will play corner. I think he can play corner.
He has the athleticism of a corner.
Yes.
He will take gambles in coverage, but I actually liked it because he makes some big, game-changing takeaways.
He's got feel. He's got skills that way. He kind of knows how they're trying to attack. I mean, that's right. He's made for the pass game. He really is. That's what he is. Run game, we got to work on breaking down and being a little bit better of an open field tackler and stuff like
slender.
that. Yeah, he's slender. Exactly right.
6'1", 188.
Yeah, it's slender. You're right. That's a corner. I mean, that's what that is. But yeah, regardless, I'm glad you gave him some hype because I think he'd probably out of the guys we talked to yesterday, I think I'm with you, and he'd have been my first honorable mention right off the list there.
Yeah, counting Keontae Scott in the safeties for me, I know you count him as corners.
Yeah.
Bud Clark was safety 7.
Yeah.
Which in this class, safety 7 is a really good player.
Keontae Scott is phenomenal, and we'll talk about him on Wednesday with the cornerback group. I kind of got him there, right? But yeah, there's him. There's even the D'Angelo Pons from Indiana who plays corner that I also go, I think he might be better nickel safety, but we'll see.
NFL role.
Yeah, what's his NFL role? But regardless, the guy that I don't know much about is your guy at number 3. And you got to tell me about
AJ Haulcy from LSU.
Right.
Yeah, we got some questions in the chat during your safety rankings, but I didn't want to jump into it then because I know he wasn't on your initial list.
Yeah, right.
Halsey, to me, first off, he played at 222.
Yes.
He went down to 215 at the combine.
Specimen.
I mean, he's built like some linebackers in today's game. I mean, he's probably the same size as a Quincy Williams.
Or the guy I like in Alabama, Justin Jefferson.
Same exact size as his playing weight.
Yeah.
Incredibly smart, great ball skills, big hitter. Situational awareness is phenomenal. Like he doesn't move like Thieneman or McNeil Warren.
Right. That's the knock on him, right?
Right. He's not. That's not. But like Caleb Downs, he understands. Okay, 3rd and 3, where the sticks are.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a step ahead to make the play.
Do you think there's a chance he ends up actually playing like linebacker? I mean, like guys like him, he's actually like the same size as Dre Greenlaw and like Azeez Al-Shaair, right?
Box matchup with tight ends.
Has that kind of body too.
Box safety, that robber role as a safety, which he thrived in at LSU. He just takes away the football, and you watch the interceptions. It's not like, tipped pass.
They're real.
It's like, you jumped the route.
Yeah.
Oh, you're running the route better than the receiver. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Halsey. I just think there's some guys just bring a different edge to a secondary, and he's at 222, it's like,
Yeah, he's one of these guys. I got to catch up on him. I definitely do.
I saw a couple of times, like, he'd make a hit over the middle, and then the next time the receiver didn't run the route the same way, and I was like, Halsey's impressive.
Intimidation.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about your guy, Michael Taaffe from Texas?
Hey, Michael Taaffe, to me, was another one where, of course, watching football the last few years, and I'm always watching Texas, I knew about him, but really, came away going, oh, damn, Michael Taaffe's better than I gave him credit for watching on TV. One, the physical ability is there. He's a smaller-looking type of safety. Yeah, I get that, but, I mean, he does move well. Like his athleticism is legit. His 1.58, his 4.5 speed at the combine. Like to me, that translates on film. I look at it and go, oh yeah, no, he's real. And then he's got some twitch and the ability to break down and be really quick in some short areas. Impressive all-around athlete. Got very good hips. To where, again, another guy where I'd go, if he's free safety, he's going to be a really good free safety, and he'll tackle when he needs to. He's not going to kill you, but he changes directions really well, and any aspect of changing directions. And then he's more physical than I gave him credit for, especially at first. At first, I was just like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be what I want here. But he tackles pretty well. He's not perfect there, but he's not afraid to stick his face in there and put his body in some uncomfortable position. That's what I do like. So there's that. And then he's got some instincts and some ball skills. So, again, off of that, I just go, yeah, I was impressed. I think he's a guy that can kind of be like free safety, nickel-ish type of guy, according to the situation.
Yeah, the Texas guys, to start in that secondary, you have to be a good player because they've pumped out NFL player after NFL player.
Well, they're one of those like where I go, if you're in that secondary, like some other schools, I go, you have to be without even knowing what you run your 40
threshold.
I would go, you have to be a pretty sick athlete.
Yep.
Because just those schools, Ohio State, what about somebody going to say? Oh, Ohio State, Alabama,
Georgia's
prime,
like
Georgia,
that. Yeah.
right? Where you just go, if they're on the field, they're worthy of it. There's a reason they're there, and I did like them. I liked them a lot more than I expected to, really.
Well, one more school like that is Penn State. They put out some freak shows on defense. Zakee Wheatley there. He is, so me and Joshua got to interview him at the Combine.
Yeah, what'd you think of him?
6'3", 203.
Right.
He's one of those guys, like, you meet him, and you're like, damn, you're going to be 215 in the NFL by August. Just wide frame.
You can see that on film.
I think he plays very under control, Chris, on film, which like. It's not it's a boring watch in a complimentary way.
I think so. Like the top end speed wants you to want more.
Yes,
but at the same time, I feel like he actually accelerates well, and so there is something to that, and especially what you're being asked to in that department. His ability to break down and react to the ball carrier, to me, that was like the first thing. Again, that was like a little bit of the twitchiness and just getting down in there, and I'm going to make the tackle one-on-one. He's comfortable in the scrum, and he really redirects well in the scrum too. So like his change of direction, short area quickness is really good. It's just like that top end speed that you kind of go, ooh, I wish. But he plays fast because he's got good instincts. And then off of that, the good hips and everything in coverage as well. Now, again, I'd like his top end speed to be a little bit better, but like the hips are smooth. Good football player. Around the ball a lot. That's what I wrote. A lot. Pass game, run game. He kind of had a feel for where it was going. And not saying he made the tackle, but you were like, ooh, if that guy didn't make the tackle, he was there next, right? But there was you could tell there's some real instincts there with him. Plays hard, physical, because of the length, can match up against tight ends and do all that stuff. Not going to have great range at free safety. It's going to be more about his brains and reading the eyes of the quarterback and all of that, right? But so I wrote, the kid's an NFL starting strong safety for me. And teams that like those bigger, longer safety types, I think they'll like him. I thought he reminded me of Jaquan Brisker, oddly enough, in a lot of ways.
Recruit often the same kind of guy.
Yes, exactly. That's who he reminded me of.
That's where people that are anti-helmet scouting, and there's times where it's not good.
Yeah.
But there's also times where they're recruiting for a system usually
that's tried and true, and we know what this kind of player looks like, and we got it. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So Wheatley, I just thought he was trustworthy.
Yeah.
It was like somebody would make a catch, no yak.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's there.
Exactly.
And a team will value that in probably round 3 for Zakee.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wrote, end of third.
Just highlights, man. This is a really, really good group. Starters in the top 100.
We can have a few in the first round. I would think we have a bunch go off in the second and third round, and then another handful of guys that go off in the fourth and fifth. I'm with you. It is a really damn good group. It's going to be a fun draft altogether. We're getting the barn set up. That's all. I got the wife. She's making plans already. Nice. I got to get your wife's number because she wants to reach out to her to make sure she, feels invited and comes.
Awesome.
So that was one of my things today. So remind me to do that when we get off air here.
Your wife is an incredibly kind person.
Well, she's married to me,
very
so she
thoughtful.
has to be.
Yes.
She has to be.
Yes, the Sims family, a lovely bunch.
Thank you, man. But you know where to find us. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, live, YouTube, 10 a.m., You know where to find us. Cornerbacks, good conversations,
Oh, yeah.
just like these safeties. Lots of good ones, and there's some depth there too. All right, so you know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, review, send in all the questions. Tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. We love talking ball. Connor, you the man.
Fun stuff,
all right,
man.
everybody, be good. See you Wednesday. Peace out. Yo, thanks for watching, homies. We are now in the NFL season here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, game recaps, film deep dives, and much, much more.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe, rate, review. Peace out. You know where to find us.